Capricorn, welcome to your October 2020 Astro Update. It's Rena here. So, as the month begins, the sun is in Libra. And for you, Libra is your 10th house of career, which you actually rule. So, this is a very comfortable, familiar place that really speaks to what you're all about. So, having the sun here can mean that sense that you feel respected, you feel dignity career-wise, or that you're looking for that. You're focusing your attention on this area of life. And when we have the sun in our own house, it's kind of like having the sun in your own sign. So there's going to be similar themes, similar feelings that come about that are evoked from that. And this is an interesting month. We have a Mercury retrograde that I will get to, but we also have two full moons, and they bookend the month. One is on the 1st and one is on the 31st. So that second one is called a blue moon. And, if you're familiar with the saying once in a blue moon, it kind of intimates that it's an event that is quite rare. And from what I understand, it's once every 2.5 years. That doesn't sound right to me, though, because I think I could have sworn we had a blue moon last year at the latest. I was even thinking this year, but maybe it was last year. But it doesn't happen every month. Let's put it that way. Okay, so the sun is in that 10th house, and you have the first full moon is at 9 degrees of Aries, and this is another cardinal sign. So Libra is a cardinal sign, Aries is a cardinal sign, and cardinal signs denote change. This is why all of the equinoxes, which we just had an equinox, and the solstices, that's when the sun goes into cardinal signs, and it's supposed to really symbolize change. It's a change of season, but at the higher level, it's a shift, for all of us energetically. And it's funny because if you live in a place like I do, and not everybody does, where you have 4 distinct seasons, there's something inside of you that kind of, gets triggered in various ways. You can have a sense of maybe melancholy, joy, contemplative feelings, maybe a winter time. It runs the gamut, but it's really fascinating. So anyway, the full moon in Aries is taking place on the 1st, and this is going to be in your 4th house of home and family. Now for Capricorns, I would say especially from about, this is just a guesstimate, around I think it was like 2012 to 2016, 2011 to 2016 or 17, Uranus was in Aries. And up to 2018, I think it kept retrograding back into it. So maybe not for the last couple of years have you had this, or maybe 1 year or 2 years, but for several years in a row in the 2010 through, whatever they call that decade, you experienced, probably, if astrology has any weight to it, some kind of erratic happenings with home life. So maybe it was sudden changes, surprises, instability. So maybe around 2011 to 2018 or so, you were moving a lot, and you never, even when you thought you were going to lay down roots, you couldn't. The 4th house can be your roots. Maybe if you have a house, there are all kinds of things that, weird things that happened that went wrong, or just with your family, a lot of shocking, kind of out of left field things going on. Well, that area has left. But the full moon in this house may, in a sense, be kind of like what you've learned from that period of time. It may be like a culmination of sorts. Even though Uranus has been in Taurus for a while now, I still think that, for some of you, this may still be in this house. I'm not going to, I decided I'm just going to do everything as one, because it really isn't going to be accurate either way. It's only when you look at your own chart that you can fully see this, because most natal charts people are interpreting are unequal houses. So you can't just delineate things that cleanly. So some of you may still be experiencing the kind of shocking instability related to the fourth house. Some of you have already experienced it, but you're still kind of recovering from that, because here we have the sun in the 10th house of career, and that's where you feel really comfortable. You are a family person for sure, but your sun is connected to, career matters. If your sun sign is Capricorn, and if your rising sign is Capricorn, your ruler is connected to career matters. So the full moon in the fourth house can, in general, give you insight into your childhood, to things to your mother and what she may have dealt with, or if you don't have a good relationship with her, which would be especially troubling to a Capricorn individual, because you do value family so much, why you are the way that you are and how it relates to her. Look to your moon sign to get more insight into how she behaved and how she treated you. And so this could be emotional. This could be letting go of a house. Maybe you're selling a house, or the family home, if there's some kind of death and that has to be taken care of, the property, or they're selling it anyway. They're just selling it because the parent has moved into some kind of assisted facility. On the 2nd, Venus goes into Virgo, and this is an earth sign, so that should be very nice for you. And Virgo is the earth sign before you, so that's the 9th house, and that is the place of expansion. So if you're single, look to meeting somebody perhaps from a different culture, race, ethnicity from you. Maybe you're traveling, and this is going to be something that you meet on your travels. Of course, with a Capricorn person, their travels may be more for business than pleasure. They may be doing it so that they can either live more comfortably on less money, or because they are working for a company that has sent them overseas. Who knows? And definitely with the sun in the 10th house, that could be something connected to that. Venus can bring money, so anything connected to spiritual types of work. If you've become a yoga teacher and you're starting to make money from it, I guess that could be that. Academia, publishing. On the 4th, Pluto goes direct at 22 degrees of Capricorn, your sign. Yeah, I forgot to say that. Pluto is in your sign, so you've already been doing a lot of deep diving, Capricorn. And a lot of Capricorns are going to emerge from this Pluto transit, which is a 15-year process, as a whole new creature. So Pluto officially leaves Capricorn in 2023. But I'm not sure if that's its final time at the rodeo because of retrogrades. I mean, it might dip back into it later. Who knows? But officially, it leaves in 2023. So if you've been like, how much more, Lord, can I take? Just know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Actually, I think that, I mean, I experienced Pluto transiting my eighth house, which is, that ain't supposed to be a picnic. And I don't think that it was that big of a deal, although I'm saying so in retrospect. So, I think for a sign like Capricorn, which tends to be very hard boiled and, almost, because you do have another, and I'm putting this in air quotes, malefic ruler in Saturn. I'm talking about Vedic astrology. That's how they view things. Pluto, Mars, Saturn, these are the heavies, so they call them malefics. But in fact, because you have a ruler like Saturn, you might deal with it a lot better than the average person. So it might not be so bad for you. So there's that. And so what that means is that maybe you've been even more contemplative, or contemplative isn't really, that sounds so peaceful. You've been really doing the difficult work. So for people who have issues that they don't seem like they've been able to resolve on their own, they may have gone into psychotherapy with a vengeance even. Because, Pluto makes, if you have Pluto in your own sign, as a transit, it's going to make you more ruthless, more, I was going to say power hungry, but also wanting to purge yourself of demons. And so for the Capricorn person that normally wouldn't do that, maybe this is the time that they have the guts to look in the mirror and go through psychotherapy. Maybe that full moon in Aries is kind of like some kind of a watershed moment where you really you connect the dots there. But in any case, now Pluto's going direct. So I feel like it's going to be more on the external level where, this is your first house. So the things that happen are more in your life as a whole. And in a strange way, that may be more easy to bear because it's not affecting your psyche as much. I don't know. Pluto is an outer planet, so it's not supposed to affect us personally. It's more of a generational influence. But when we look at it in terms of, if it's in a conjunction, we look at the aspects to these personal planets like the sun and then what house it's in, we can see that this may have a very personal impact, especially for somebody like you. Now, but remember, now, when I say now, it's not just recently, but in this year, you have Jupiter in your sign as well. So you have this saving grace, this kind of a buffer. Saturn, your ruler, has gone back into Capricorn, into your sign. For you, this can give you this sense of, it is, it's funny, I was going to say it's retrograding. I'm recording this on September 29th when it goes direct. And I feel like there must be something that it was doing in my life because I feel like, thank God. Even though that's not a personal planet. But anyway, I digress. So, you're moving forward, that whether you look at it symbolically or if you feel the forward momentum, whatever, now you have it. So lots on the Capricorn's plate and Capricorn rising, because that's your first house. A lot of activity, a lot of change perhaps, or a lot of trying to nail things down to try to get your shit together. Let's put it that way. Pardon the French. I wonder if, pardon the French, I wonder if that's like a diss to French people. I never thought about it that way because I really don't know why they say that. Profanity is French. So I'm going to have to look that up. If you're French and you know, or anybody who knows what the origin of that term is, please let me know. On the 13th, Mercury turns retrograde. It just seems like we had a Mercury retrograde that kicked my booty, it seemed. Some do, some don't. At 11 degrees of Scorpio. Sometimes you're like, oh yeah, it's a Mercury retrograde, and you're not even noticing it. Sometimes it seems like it's one thing after the other. But that's life anyway. Even after this, I'm still blaming Mercury retrograde for this. So this is on the 13th at 11 degrees of Scorpio. 11 is a master number, so we can look at that as well. Interesting that Pluto turns direct at 22 degrees of Capricorn. That's a master number as well. So this is occurring in your 11th house of hopes and wishes, Capricorn. So, and friendships and groups, okay, and the internet. So that should be very interesting. See if you have internet issues or computer issues. It's a house of technology. So you might specifically face the wrath of the technology gods but it's only 3.5 weeks. Don't sweat it. Did any of you experience it now, if you're listening at the end of September, early first part of October? Because the shadow period, I don't know exactly when the shadow period started or is starting, but that could definitely be in play as well for some of these snafus. It could be a misunderstanding with a friend, miscommunications with people, like, that you're associated with in groups. And some of these groups could be professional groups. It's just, this is a social area. So just a heads up about what could possibly happen and how you can, be on alert for this kind of thing. And then on the 16th, we have a new moon at 23 degrees of Libra. And there again is that fourth house, home and family. I'm sorry, career. And, it's interesting because I don't have that information in front of me at the moment, but 23, I read somewhere, is the lion's number. I think it's connected to the star Sirius. So this may be a time of great power for you career-wise. Maybe you're getting some kind of promotion. 23 reduces to a 5, so it could be some kind of change afoot with career matters. New moons always can indicate new beginnings of some sort. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Scorpio. Now, this is a friendly angle to you because it is a sextile. And this is where the Mercury retrograde is. So you might be, for some reason, more communicative, social than you usually are. I think of Capricorns as lone wolves a lot of times, rightfully or wrongly. And there may be reasons, but usually, like I say, I think that there's a calculating reason. And I don't mean that disparagingly. I just mean that Capricorns, it's like haste. What do they say? Haste makes waste. No, that's not the right thing. You just like, because of Saturn doesn't like excess. So when you do things, you want them to be purposeful. If you're socializing, yeah, you can socialize. I'm sure you can, but you're very serious. You're very ambitious. you're about something and you don't want to just fritter away your time. So you might carve out time for really close friends, but in general, I think that if you're socializing with groups of people, that there may be, in some cases, also another reason for it. Like maybe you're trying to widen the net if you own your own business and you want to get the word out and things like that. Doesn't mean you don't socialize. I know Capricorns and I know they socialize, but there's just this sense of also, it's what I'm saying is being a social butterfly. And if this is a time when you're really, because you do have Mercury, it's retrograde, but when it was direct, it was in this house. And you're talking to people, a lot of people. And so there might have been reasons beyond just wanting to, chew the fat that you were communicating with these people. And on the 31st, we have a blue moon. This is a doozy. I'm looking forward to it / slightly dreading it. I'm being facetious, but I'm one of those people who loves, I don't drive. So if I go somewhere that's relatively far away and I'm not going to ride my bicycle, I take public transit. And there are some times when I notice when I'm out and about, when I'm dealing, when you take public transit, you deal with a lot of people. And I love it. I love kind of just being around other people and people watching, seeing how other people behave and things like that. And I should have been an anthropologist, actually. But sometimes there's a lot of wackadoodles or wackadoodle behavior. And I always think, are we having a full moon? And it seems like 9 times out of 10, I'm correct about that. Or 8 out of 10, I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But a lot of times there are. So this particular full moon could be extra wackadoodle because it's a full moon. It's a blue moon. So it means that it's special. Second full moon in a month, so we're already being infused with this atmosphere of what the full moon represents, and one of these things can be disclosure, some kind of situation like that, and full moons can bring out secrets. Now, the interesting thing about this, as an American, is that the full moon forms a conjunction, an exact hit with Uranus, 8 degrees of Taurus, okay? For you, this is an earth sign. So this is friendly to you, Capricorn. Maybe if you go to a Halloween party, don't, if you're looking for love, go to that Halloween party, even if you'd rather stay at home. Because with Uranus in conjunction with the full blue moon, you could meet somebody in that 5th house of romance, and it's love at first sight, and it's just out of nowhere. And this is the love of your life. So don't pass that up if you're looking for love. You never know what could happen. And that's the thing about this full moon. Anything can happen. Uranus has a bag of tricks for us. And I wonder, I didn't think about this before, but I wonder if technology could be featured, if there could be some kind of, we could have that period of darkness that some people have been anticipating where they shut down the internet. And in the United States, we are having, the election only 3 days later. And this is during, Mercury turns direct on election day, Tuesday on November 3rd, and the full moon takes place with Uranus on the 31st. So I'm wondering if that's going to be when they do something with the electricity, because and the technology specifically is what I'm really referring to, is the technology, like an internet blackout, because this is more mundane astrology, like talking about worldly events, not really related to you, Capricorn. Sorry, I got off on that tangent, but for you, this is in the area of love and parties. So, maybe you do go to a party, and this is on Halloween. So they say that Halloween is a time when the veil between the worlds is the most thin. And that's why the next day we have the Day of the Dead, because in Mexico, they stay overnight in the graveyards, I believe, to kind of commune with their loved ones who are on the other side. So I think that's a really cool ritual. I'm not a ritual person, but I think that's really cool. So I don't know what you are going to do, Capricorn, but I hope you have a great month. Thank you for watching. I mean, for listening. If you're watching, I don't know what to say to you. But if you'd like a private reading, I do natal chart interpretations. I have a special with 2 full-length readings, tarot and astrology, natal chart, the whole enchilada. And it really is a deep discount. I was looking at the price that I gave, and when you look at the 2 full-length readings, it's like pretty much 2 hours. It's almost 2 hours for a special price, and you can check that all out, the link below. Take care. Bye.